snackablementalhealth.ca. We're here today with Karen, my co-host, awaiting a visit from the wonderful comedian Patrick Hay. Karen, we're going to go with a Karen Slowdown today. We had some pretty bad news.
Yeah, it's been a rough
down your way,
a rougher week,
and just wondered if you wanted to share any of it.
Yeah, it's something that I've never dealt with in a family level or setting. My brother-in-law committed suicide, and I think it makes you look at suicide from so many different angles. He was just about my age. He had 7 children. He had 7 grandchildren. And the part of me at first was shock, despair, like, oh my gosh. And then I slipped into, what about your kids? What about the grandbabies who loved him? And I didn't know how to deal. I didn't know how to cope.
All of that seems really normal. Everything that you're feeling,
yeah,
seems.
Then you get angry.
The way you're supposed to feel. Anger is a big one for suicide. On all ends, like there's blame. You blame yourself. Then you get angry at I would call him the victim of his suicide.
Yeah.
Be a victim. It hit me when every time I hear about that, I go into kind of not a relapse, but I go into a bit of a
refeel.
I feel it again from a different angle.
Right.
So it's like, man, I understand, and everybody who has been touched by a suicide feels it differently. But there are some common traits to being there. With that feeling, which is an uncontrollable, all over the map kind of lost feeling. And anger is a big part of it, I think. Despair is a good one you mentioned.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Oh my gosh. We never expected to get that phone call. I have to add, he didn't like my husband and I. He was married to...
You okay with talking about this?
Pardon?
You're good?
Totally okay with it.
Perfect.
We can't all like everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
It doesn't mean I didn't like him. I loved him. He was family.
Yeah.
He was actually also Aboriginal. So there was only 2 of us in the family, and then all of his children, obviously. But he was married to my husband's sister. And I don't think I talked about this before on here, but my husband just lost his other sister to cancer, and now a brother-in-law to suicide. So my husband is
had quite a year already.
He's had a terrible year. So I think a lot of my emotions are for my husband as well. And
I've got to be
the savior.
Something, a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this happened far away, 8 hours from us. So we couldn't just stop and drive up there, but you feel bad that you can't. But, it's like, how, why? But
There's that why, that unanswerable why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the smart part of myself, I shouldn't say smart part, but the other part of me is he must have felt that everyone is better off without him there. And
he didn't feel.
I don't understand how
important.
Yeah, I felt like this once when I was 16, and I slept with a guy who didn't like me. So I was like, that's it. I'm ending myself.
That's a very 16-year-old kind of
very,
mindset. Yeah.
But I've never been and I've lived through a lot of shit. I've gone through a lot as a child, and I've never felt like people are better off without me. I always thought, you guys are lucky to have me.
That's amazing.
That's how I always felt.
Yes.
So I'm so sad. I'm internally so sad that somebody felt that bad.
Yeah.
So it's messed me.
I had a meeting with my psychologist last week. And no, was it last week? No, it was this past week. Yeah, last week. Who cares?
Who cares?
And I was like, I do have ideations from time to time.
Wow.
And it's simply about not feeling important. And he's like, you're wrong, first of all.
Yeah.
But that is normal to feel that I don't want to be here anymore.
Really?
And it's not about, committing. Or I don't even have to say. People say died by suicide now, not committed, because it's not really. They're getting a little bit. The wording behind it once again is getting a little bit more merciful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have ideations of not.
Wow, Brandon.
Not wanting to be here anymore. It doesn't hang.
It doesn't hang around.
It doesn't stick around.
Right.
Which is why, in my opinion, I always give myself 5 more minutes.
Good for you.
2 more minutes before I, pop a pill or smoke a cigarette or have a shot of bourbon.
Right.
Or think that way, that the world would be better without me.
Wow.
And it's funny because I know, like, how important a human life is valuable to me in all aspects, even the bad guys.
Yeah.
I feel that too.
I do too.
There are some terrible people out there, but I mean, the world, it takes all kinds, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, being validated,
yeah,
the work I'm doing is, and not even just me. It's just that the world, we're all gonna die.
Yeah,
that's a given. So why speed it up?
Yeah,
it's gonna happen anyway.
I could
so
see.
Why put it in your own hands to leave it up to whatever higher power you believe in,
right?
Or whatever spirit, or whatever something that is above us.
True.
I'm going to put it in her hands.
Mm-hmm.
But so when I hear about a suicide, it makes me kind of, what's the word? Regress to that type of thinking.
Right.
Not that, I want to do it, or it's just like that is, like that's the big one. Suicide is the big one.
It's forever.
It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're all going to die. That's a given.
Yeah.
So why speed it up? Do you know what I mean? Why
power tripper? Right.
It's a terrible decision to make.
Yeah.
I do understand MAID, and people who are. My tummy's gurgling, eh?
Is it?
I do understand medical assistance in dying.
I 100%.
But I understand that if somebody is in that inexplicable amount of pain,
right,
that is incurable, and they are in some stage 4 of their life, or final stage, that their suffering shouldn't be continued. That I agree with. But
they're doing it for young people now.
But somebody completely healthy who is going through a mental health problem,
right,
can reach out.
Yeah,
like reach out. If you're feeling that way, reach out.
I agree. However, that's my big word of the day. I lived above somebody who was daily suffering. Like,
you told me about that.
It was
that neighbor you had.
Yes.
Or in the same house.
Yes. And I have never seen somebody not get the help when family is screaming out for the help and seeing what's happening to this person, and they're still not getting that help. And it ended up that something happened in the building we lived in, and apparently that's when they got their help.
That's kind of like the last
the last
The
straw
brink, at the brink of it all.
where everybody
help-
else is
Then
at.
help came.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. See, I mean, it came,
It came.
and that person's
I-
alive.
That person is alive, and I've been told that they're doing well now because they have assisted help, like somebody comes and administers the drugs for them and stuff like that, which I'm happy for. But I can also understand how this person is above average intelligence. Like this person, if he was on Jeopardy, would,
Kill it,
absolutely, for better words, yeah.
and not just pop culture Jeopardy, but
Actual like
Jeopardy.
real
Yeah.
Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So I can understand how he or she would feel knowing somebody's coming in every day to give you your meds. There has to be something in your head saying, this sucks. But you're
Of course,
here.
it sucks.
You're here, and everyone
There's
gets
a
to love you.
possibility that it could turn around, though. That's my thing, is that it can, whatever rock bottom you're feeling at that point in time,
Yeah. Every
realize
day.
that's the bottom.
Every day this person was, I don't know how this person, well, they didn't sleep.
Yeah.
It was the worst that I've ever witnessed. And
And they're right next door, too.
right underneath.
underneath you.
Yeah.
And you're scared they're going to burn down the house. Or
Well, that's what ended up happening.
Okay.
They set fire, but I remember thinking every day, like, how does this person, they're not coping, but there's nobody to help them. And when they're standing outside naked in a snowstorm, you just want to hug them, but that's not.
You're such a bleeding heart. I love it.
I am.
You are. You care. You're
I
an
care.
earth mother.
I would put food
You're an earth
outside
mother.
of. Am I?
Yeah, you're
What
an
is that? Is it like a den mother?
No, an earth mother is that's what I call most women that
Are like
put
me?
their hearts out there.
Yeah.
Like you understand the need. Yeah, my mom was an earth mother.
Maybe that's why we get along.
I'm pretty sure.
I couldn't ever
get it.
stand and look at this person and be angry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the pain in that person's head.
I understand. I know where that's coming. I know where you're feeling that.
I want this person to eat, so I'd leave food, but that person's thinking, you've poisoned my food.
My goodness.
Yeah.
When
But-
you get to that point, and then like today, I was walking into the clothing shop to order my suit for the wedding.
Woo!
I saw a lady with her dog at the bank, wrapped up in, a sleeping bag and a newspaper, and I was like, "Is that a decision?" And
Yeah.
I was pretty close, I would say, to wanting to live that way, being off the grid, off meds, off people, off everything.
Really?
But it was just a fleeting thought.
Right.
And then when I see the unhoused and I see how despondent I feel to being able to help that, it really frustrates me. But yeah, I'm like, is that a decision? Like the encampment and things that we see daily, is that like a lot of people want to live like that?
Yeah.
Karen.
They don't want to ask anybody for
They don't want to
anything.
be a burden,
Right.
and they don't want to, as opposed to just seeing them as people who are unhoused, or
Yeah.
however you want to talk about that. Like it's just,
I was unhoused.
yeah.
I used to great pizza in dumpsters, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I was an alcoholic.
Well, for you, that would be part of your learning curve
It was my
and
safety.
your understanding, but your understanding of it now is paramount.
I picked the winter. So stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
but-
that's part of the education of it, right?
yeah. Yeah, you got to think things through better, but
Well, I mean, do you like? Is there? There was no plan.
no plan. No, there's no money. There's nowhere to live. So
Yeah.
it was like, well, I don't have family. I didn't have family.
I've been destitute a few times in my life,
That's
but
probably
I've
a better
never
way.
been without.
Yeah.
I've always managed to, and in that, I've always managed to count my blessings. I've never been without a roof over my head
Right.
or food. It was things like I couldn't get a hold of a 2-4 of beer,
Right.
or a pack of cigarettes, which is kind of like
And remember
or
that
branded.
feeling?
Yeah,
Oh, that's terrible.
yeah,
And I remember the feeling one time I was young, 17, when I had enough money for a no-name pack of bread and no-name ham. And you would have thought I won the lottery. I was so excited.
that's one. That's
So
that's got to
excited.
be an amazing feeling.
It was, beyond exciting.
I've got ham sandwiches now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Screw all you. I got ham. I got 2 nickels. I got 2 nickels.
it's amazing.
But yeah, it's been a roller coaster of emotions this week, and
But your understanding of it is what I. That's why I said you're an Earth Mother. You get it. You understand.
thanks.
As lost or as despondent. That, in my feeling, despondency, knowing what's going on and not being able to do anything about it,
Yeah.
is one of the worst feelings in the world.
It is.
And yeah, you can't. You
Yeah, you can't fix it. You can't.
no.
Nothing.
And there's nothing you can do.
No,
But
except for feel.
we got Patrick Hay coming.
If you don't know him, look him up.
Absolutely incredible guy.
Before you cut off, I have one quick question.
Let's do it.
Brandon, how's your mental health?
We'll answer that in a little while.
Awesome.